Okay, this video is the tanker driver's guide to using GPS coordinates. This is for either tanker drivers or truck drivers that don't know how to use GPS coordinates. This is basically an introductory guide to GPS coordinates. So even if you're not a truck driver, you can learn how to use GPS coordinates off of this video. Basically, tanker drivers must often go to remote areas where the street names are often missing or non-existent. Some trucking companies like to list their customers where they will have first the customer name, then the street address, and then underneath the street address they will have the GPS coordinates just like these right here. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to be able to find a delivery location just by using the GPS coordinates and Google Maps. Okay. So now, what are GPS coordinates? I'm going to back this up a little so we could see it good. Okay. So, pretend that this is a globe of the Earth, and this is the North Pole and the South Pole, and like Canada would be up here, United States would be about there, Mexico would be there, and then South America would be down here. So anyways, if you were to draw an east-west line across the globe, that's what's called a latitude line. Any line, whether it's a line high up north or a line down south, anything that goes east and west is a latitude line. That latitude line corresponds with the first number of the GPS coordinates. This first number corresponds with that line. Now, let's take this other globe. It's the same idea. You've got the North Pole and the South Pole. If you draw a line from the North Pole to the South Pole, it's called a longitude line. That longitude line corresponds with the second number of the GPS coordinate. The number that comes right after the minus sign is the longitude number. Now, if we were to take these two globes and put them together into one, where the latitude and longitude line cross each other, that would form an X, and that X would be the location of this exact coordinate right here. So that's how that works. Okay. So now, the next thing we're going to talk about is that you're going to download Google Maps onto your phone. So that's the symbol right there for Google Maps. And downloading Google Maps onto your phone is extremely easy. I'm not going to waste my time in this video teaching you how to do it because it's extremely easy. All you got to do is go to the Apple App Store, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. You can download it. It's very easy. So just go and do that. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to talk about proper form. Okay, so I'm going to try and bring this in closer. Okay. All right. Okay, so the location that we're going to find today is the TA Travel Center in Tonopah, Arizona. So there's the street address, and now underneath is the GPS coordinates, and this is how, like I said, how some trucking companies like to do it. All right, so what I mean by proper form, actually I want to bring this in even closer because I want to make sure that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, good. Now that's good. I'll bring it up a little bit. All right, so now every single part of this address GPS coordinate is important. 3, period, like the period at the end of a sentence. 45836, comma. At the end of that, put a comma. Then in between the comma and the minus sign, put a space, like hit the space bar one time. So comma, hit the space bar once, then minus sign, 112, period, like the end of a sentence. So That's what I mean by proper form. If you forget one of the periods, it's not going to work. If you forget the comma, it's not going to work. If you forget to put a space in between the comma and the minus sign, it's not going to work. So this is why I'm stressing proper form. If you don't use proper form, it's not going to work. Okay, so now we're going to find the TA Travel Center. Okay, so now I'm going to get my phone and we're going to try and put it in focus here. Okay, so now we're going to go to Google Maps. Touch it. Okay, so now we can get rid of that. All right, so here we are, we're at Google Maps, and at the top of the screen is the search bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus in on that search bar. There. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that TA GPS coordinates, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter it, and you're going to watch me as I enter it. Okay. 33 period 45836 comma, hit the space bar one time, then minus sign, 112 period 78158. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my number to make sure it's accurate. Okay, it's accurate. All right, so now I'm going to zoom back out. Try and get the whole screen here. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to hit search. Okay, so that red dot right there, that's what's called a pin drop. Okay, that pin drop is the exact location for those GPS coordinates. So now let's slide it over to the right a little bit. Okay, right there it says TA Truck Service. So we have successfully found the TA truck stop in Tonopah, Arizona. Okay, now if we want, we can zoom out. We can take our fingers and move them together and zoom out. Okay, so there's the highway, and the TA truck stop is right off the highway. Okay, so now I want to show you something that's good to use. There's a little button right there that you can press. I'll press it, and you can change the map view from the regular map to satellite view. Okay, so now I'm going to press that X and make this disappear. Okay, so now we can view the truck stop just like we own our own satellite. See all those trucks parked in a row? Isn't that good? I like that. All right, so now I'm going to go back. Oh, and this satellite view is also good for when you want to try to figure out what driveway is the proper driveway to enter a customer. Because sometimes you'll have a customer that's a really large piece of property and you want to know which driveway should I enter on. Okay, so see, you see how that has a lot of tire marks right there from big trucks? That's usually how you can tell which driveway is the proper driveway. Now notice the car entrance. The tire marks are much less. You can. That's usually how you can tell. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the regular map view. It's called the default view. All right, I'm going to zoom out. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make what's called make your own GPS coordinates or make your own pin drop. Now a good example for this is, let's say your boss tells you, hey, you're going to be making a delivery that's going to be at a customer that's out in the woods. What I want you to do is, once you get out there, I want you to go to Google Maps and make a pin drop and then write down the number of the GPS coordinates for that pin drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that we're going to do that right now. Now usually your truck will show up as a blue dot. It will be like a little blue dot. So I mean your phone, actually, it's your phone that's making the blue dot. But that's how you know where you are. So let's pretend that your customer is located right here where that blue dot would be. So basically, here's how you make a pin drop. Take your finger and touch the screen where you want to create the pin drop. I should say dropped pin. Hold it for 2 seconds. Okay, there you go. You just created your own dropped pin. Now if you notice underneath, see that it says drop pin, this screen. What we're going to do now, okay, so your next question would be, okay, I just created a dropped pin. How do I get the numbers that represent the GPS coordinates for that drop pin? Here's how you do it. Take your finger and go to that screen and just gently pull it up. Okay, now you have what I call the dropped pin screen, where you have all the information for the pin that you just made is on this screen. So now the most important thing is right here. I'm going to zoom it in close for that screen right there. That is the GPS coordinate number for the dropped pin that you just made. So what you're going to do is grab a piece of paper and write down those coordinates, and then when you get back to your trucking company, give that to your boss, and he will have the drop pin for the customer. All right. This also comes in handy for like guys that are either hunters or fishermen. If you have a favorite fishing spot, you can mark it with GPS coordinates. So this has lots of uses. All right. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to go back to the TA in Tonopah, Arizona. Okay. All right, so now you're probably saying, okay, well, I know that the TA is there, but how do I get there? Okay, here's how you get there. Go down to the bottom and press directions. Okay, then up top, it's going to say choose starting point. So press that. Then just put your location, your current location. Okay, so I have my current location and the GPS coordinates that we're going to. So now just go to the bottom and press start.
Head northwest on Springfield.
Okay, and there you go. It's got where I starting in the city of Bryan, College Station, Texas, and it's going to take me all the way to Tonopah, Arizona. Okay, and it will give you turn-by-turn directions all the way there. So I'll just hit, and as you start driving, it will give you turn-by-turn directions. Okay, so now I'm going to exit this. All right. So now the last thing I want to talk about is the problem with Google Maps is that Google Maps was designed for cars. It really was not designed for trucks. So what I recommend is that if you're going to use Google Maps to find a wooded area, I would suggest only like a customer in a wooded area, I would suggest just use it for the last mile. The reason being is if you use Google Maps to drive from like New York to California or from, Texas to Chicago, the problem is that sooner or later you're either going to hit a low bridge or you're going to end up on a really skinny road where the road is so skinny you're going to have to go in reverse for 5 miles to get back to a regular road, and you don't want to do this. Okay, that's a bad thing. You don't want to do that. So now what would I recommend doing instead? Here's what I would recommend. I've been using this service for the last 3 years called TruckerPath, and TruckerPath is an app just like Google Maps that you can download off of the Apple App Store. Okay, and basically TruckerPath works exactly like Google Maps, except it is specific for trucks. it will give you routes that are safe for a truck to be on, so you can avoid low bridges, avoid ending up on skinny roads where you have to go in reverse for 5 miles. Okay, it's Trucker Path is 3 times better than Google Maps. Okay, and the other nice thing is it's anyone who can use Google Maps can use Trucker Path. They're both very similar to one another. The other excellent thing about Trucker Path is that it will help you find a place to park at night, because it has recommendations for where truck parking is available. It will greatly help you find parking at night. The other thing I like about Trucker Path is you can enter GPS coordinates just like you can on Google Maps. So it's just like Google Maps, except it's 3 times better, and it is specific for trucks. So I would highly recommend using it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a great day today.